What's up, bros? Welcome to the 137th episode of Lost in Appalachia, where I cover stories of Mothman, Bigfoot, the giant serpent on the hill, haunted hill asylums, and 3 Billy Goats Gruff. I'm Goldman Lutz. Today I'm joined by Dr. Jacqueline Pendercrab.
No, excuse me.
Oh.
Penderschlatz.
From the University of Kentucky, where she has spent her entire career studying the legends of the Adena and Hopewell people of the southern Ohio River Valley. Her new book, Which of the Appalachians from River to Folklore, hit shelves this past week. Our focus today is going to be the hunt for the Hocking Witch. This story has deep ties to the Appalachian area. It's a privilege to have you with us today, Dr. Penderschlatz.
Penderschlatz.
Sorry.
Well, thank you for having me. It is exciting to talk about my work on such a voracious subject. Well, as you can imagine, this is the sort of stuff that makes my socks roll up and down.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Penderschlatz.
Penderschlatz.
Sorry. Can you share with our listeners a little background about the Hocking Witch?
Certainly, darling. The legend of a witch in the Hocking Valley arrived around 1900. The first coal mining town of Eclipse was established near Athens, Ohio, by the Hocking Valley Coal Company. It was built between 1900 and 1902 and included Eclipse Mine Number 4. The town was initially operated by the Johann brothers, Dwayne and Percival. Eclipse Mine Number 4 had been constructed under an Adena tribal burial mound. It was early 1901 when strange things began to happen within the town. Livestock started to go missing and found mutilated. Children waked to horrible nightmares, and townspeople became terminally ill. Oh, loud, terrifying screams were heard in the forest at night. Some say they then spoke in tongues. Oh, this gives me goosebumps. A Hocking Valley mirror came home late one evening, reported to Town Councilwoman Agnes Stolt that he saw a glowing light coming from the rocks in a cliffside just outside of town. As he approached to investigate, he saw a virile young girl in the cave. He said the young girl growled and lunged at him. After reporting to Agnes, the town council met to discuss what had been discovered by the miner.
I saw the light from the cave, and there's a woman, wild, feral, in the caves.
Nothing good can come out of a wild animal so close to our village. We have to do something.
Agnes then organized a few of her followers to accompany her into the woods and rid the community of what she considered a potential threat.
Well, do we know who the group comprised of other than Agnes Stahl?
Well, unfortunately, we don't. We only know that this was a Dutch farming community that had welcomed other migrants in exchange for labor. Local pastor Johann Meyer wrote in his Ural about a group of 5, but does not give an account of their names other than Agnes. Additionally, in Pastor Meyer's journal, I discovered the cross born during the Crusades in Europe was adorned by this group. However, the names of the participants were never identified in any of the writings I have discovered during my research. It seems as if the council did everything to conceal the identities of the members of this group.
So, can we assume that religious influence came from the strong Orthodox heritage? If paganism existed near to or within the community and was a perceived threat to the community, there must be, well, absolution or execution.
No, it wasn't quite that simple. Agnes was a powerful woman in the town. The community considered Agnes to be the mother of the council. After serving in the council to establish an independent homestead for the town using her own wealth, of which we know very little of, given she was unmarried, had no children, and was said to have many affairs with men and women of the community. Her background remains a mystery. She came to be regarded as head mother of the community. All decisions were ultimately made by her regarding the community and the functionality of the members.
Well, so knowing this, let's dive into the fate of this feral young girl. What happened to her?
As I said earlier, Agnes Stahl organized a small group of people from the community. They met late one evening in November and marched into the center of the wood.
Wow, I mean, what a brutally horrible atrocity. I mean, she didn't even investigate that the girl was making, or she got rid of the girl before even she knew what was wrong.
Absolutely. There was never any hesitation from Agnes Stahl to take violent action. She needed to communicate her power over the townspeople. She was feared by her community, and they would do her bidding. However, that's not quite the end of this story.
Oh, okay, well, before we get to the end, can you provide maybe some background information after the fact of who this feral young girl was supposed to be?
Oh. In 1878, a young African-American man found his way through the town of New Freedom. There he interacted with some local Native Americans whose village was just outside the Eclipse town border. In secret, he married one of the tribe daughters. He said that she died during childbirth. After the people of New Freedom learned of the baby's mixed race, the man and his daughter would be hunted by both the townspeople and the native tribe. Instinctively, he fled with his daughter into the forest. It's speculated that the father died even when his daughter was only a teenager. She learned to live in the forest on her own for over a decade. It wasn't until the miner discovered her that anyone knew she existed.
Okay, well, given this information, how does this end?
Agnes Stahl and the others never returned to town. A search party was organized the next day by Pastor Meyer. For 3 days they searched, returning each night to horrifying screams in the darkness. On day 4, Agnes, when two of the 5 original group members' heads were discovered on pikes in the horse pasture. 2 of the group were never found. This led to speculations that the others had killed Agnes Stahl in a disagreement over what she had done. There is, however, the other possibility that the young girl didn't die of her wounds. Some say she hunted and executed the group members for what they had done to her. Unfortunately, there are no written records after the group was organized to hunt the feral girl. Interestingly, a dog was found inside the cave. Yes, it bears the symbol of the Crusaders' cross. This is evidence to suggest the girl secretly explored the town several times and witnessed perhaps religious observances where the community bore the Crusaders' cross on their clothing.
Well, Dr. Penderschlotz, it has been an honor to have you on this 137th episode of Lost in Appalachia. Thank you to our listeners for supporting this podcast. I'm Golden Lutz, signing off until the next episode. Keep it cool out there.
People, that was incredible. We had 42,000 new listeners. We had 13,000 new subscribers to the podcast. This puts us at 1.7 million subscribers. This is huge. Chit-chat.
feral, wild in the caves.
Type stuff.